Okay, one more disclaimer before we begin the next episode. If you've watched my video on Megaman X, I mean you should because I'm covering the sequel, link is up here, go watch please, give me your watch minutes! Anyway, if you did watch the video, you may have the misunderstanding that I think the Mega Man Zero series sucks bollocks, which is totally not true. I just think the design is... It'll grow on to me once I play it, that I'm sure. If I can play Shadow the Hedgehog with the most bullcrap level paths I choose, at the very least I'll become numb to the pain. But that's enough of that though, we have some man to Mega. And by that I mean demolish. Well, with every sequel, there's an opportunity to become greater, right? Well, let's find out. So the Blue Bomber has struck gold once more with a new series in 1993. Mega Man X took a new turn for the franchise, being faster, edgier, and all around more hardcore. A fast-paced run-and-gun game with a killer soundtrack that may be difficult, but definitely rewarding. We were right around the 6th installment of the classic Mega Man series, and Capcom thought it was about time to shake things up, especially with the SNES around. They wanted to keep what made Mega Man, well, painting the town blue and dead, while at the same time offer a brand new experience with a darker tone, faster gameplay, and all around sexy to boot. So with the first Mega Man spin-off successful, hey, why not keep going? And keep going they shall. 1 year later, Capcom released a grand spanking new Mega Man X2 for the Super Nintendo. This is one of those Mega Man X games I don't really hear much of. Usually when someone yells about Mega Man, I hear about how great Mega Man X is, how confusing X7 is, and how plain bad they can be. I'm only 5 games away, and I can smell the pungent, ill-inducing goop from here. But now it's time to see what the game can do. Somehow, I got myself into the Mega Man X marathon, so I hope you all enjoy.
Again I ask, where's your Kingdom Hearts marathon, Jordan?
One step at a time, Tux. We'll get there soon.
You made your viewers waste their time voting for a series to review, but Megaman comes out of your ass out of nowhere. I've never seen such a sudden U-turn on your schedule before. And now I'm more than validated to give you shit for it.
I can't do everything at once, dude. Trying to be funny and informational can be draining sometimes, you know?
Or maybe you're too disorganized and quick to jump into anything. Also too scared and stupid to look at a series millions of YouTubers have done videos on by now. Also working on your print shop is no excuse. Also,
Okay, you made your point.
Also, what about Halo 2, or those games on the PlayStation Classic?
Let's look at Mega Man X2.
You really are a piece of shit.
Ain't nothing like a funky beat.
Since this is the sequel to Mega Man X, why don't we begin with what's going on? So this game takes place 6 months after Sigma's defeat in X1, and X is still at it, blasting stuff with his blue pooper. Sigma might be gone, at least for the time being, but his rebellion is still out and about, giving X and the rest of the Maverick Hunters the old roundabout. Especially now that Zero is on a permanent vacation, X needs to grow a pair and pull the trigger. We have a new set of baddies to deal with, a trio named the X Hunters, also known as the X Go Commit Die Club. No one else matters, no, they just want you and only you to be brutally reduced to nothing but titanium grain. Whole titanium grain. And have you for breakfast. They unleash 8 Mavericks to kick your booty. You take them out, you head to the X-Hunter Fortress, you finally take the dudes down. Don't act surprised, X, we got 7 games to go. Sigma does in fact come back, as promised, so now we gotta kick his face in once more. With the threat neutralized once more, X and Zero have a relaxing, romantic view of the sunset.
How long is this gonna go on?
We ride off in the credits once more for the setup of Mega Man X3. It's pretty much X1 but with the added one-night stand threat, kinda giving this game a Jetix cartoon feeling. I know the X series is supposed to have a darker tone. It's one of the main things that separated this game from the classic series, but honestly, I don't see it. Put these 3 in a standard Mega Man game and I honestly wouldn't see the difference. Especially after looking over the horizon for the second time and we get our Dr. Wily of the series. How many lawsuits is this going to take? but this is still a Mega Man game at the end of the day. Nothing special for now. After all, the gameplay is the real highlight to any Mega Man game, period. So let's head back into the Maverick select screen and once again cry. So once again, you go right, shoot things, and you head to the end of the level to take care of the Maverick and you get their weapon. Bada bing, bada boom, you repeat the process until you beat them all, and then you go show the dimwits what's good. One thing I noticed right off the bat was that X was rocking his birthday suit. Where's his upgraded armor suit? Dr. Light poured blood, sweat, and tears into these upgrades. Don't just throw them away just cause they made you dummy thick. Another thing, why does everyone call me Mega Man X? I'm assuming someone knew about Mega Man, but either way, his name is X. So Mega Man X seems a little confusing.
Zero's parts are in the possession of the X-Hunters.
Huh?
We still
Who's
have
Mega Man?
his mother chip, Mega Man X. You must enter
Who's
this
Mega Man?
capsule,
My name is just
or
X.
else I'll chop off your dick.
This is the man we're looking for. His name is Mega Man X. We're gonna chop off his dick.
It especially doesn't help with Dr. Kane, who did discover X, but I'm assuming you didn't tell him jack about Light or Mega Man. Another thing, aren't you supposed to be dead? You were going on about how your life is coming to a close, and from the looks of it, you were caught in an explosion and died. Am I missing something? May I remind you that this took place in the day of Sigma Short, which took place before Mega Man X1. You were hooked up and immobilized by a freaking Boomer Live Forever juice maker, and now you're alive and well, with a walking cane. What is happening? Anyway, back to our armor problem. It ain't that much of a big deal now that we have the leg dash by default now, which I think is neat. The slower pace from the first game was okay, but it was too Mega Man-y. But it did help that the leg dash part was right there in Chill Penguin stage. So I believe the devs thought it was about time for a new Mega Man mechanic. So pull up those pants and let's go, go, go! So it's time to get creative, as some stages will require some extra speed and momentum, along with finding hidden goodies, as certain stages will kick your booty if you're not fast enough. Granted, you have the wall jump back, which is a very cool save if you miss the edge of a platform, but speed is the new key here. You'll need to avoid certain obstacles, climb up faster, or you're in the middle of nowhere, so you just want to go fast, okay? But don't be too trigger happy with the dash, because these stages are a lot more punishing than before. This game has the same issue with enemies respawning off screen, so heading left is a pretty bad idea, especially if your health looks a little like this. But you'll find yourself crowded with a lot more enemies and even more level hazards than before, testing not only your mobility and skill, but also your thumbs. The devs assumed you played the first X game, so let's kick it up a notch, shall we? Speaking of which, there's no level alterations when you beat certain Mavericks. The rising lava is still a pain in my lumpy butt, the moving blocks are still confusing as all hecky, and the artificial storm can suck a fat, wet, smelly dick. Also, the motorbike and overdrive ostriches stage is nice, but I only found myself using it for 30 seconds, so my excitement was short-lived. Once again, you can find the hard tanks and the sub-tanks in the game, making the journey a little easier. I found sub-tanks to be more challenging to find this time around. Neat stuff. Meanwhile, some of the hard tanks are just lying there, teasing me like,
Don't tell your mother, kiss one another.
while we're on the collectibles, we may be bare and naked now, but we have a nude suit waiting for us. The light capsules are making a return for our second armor, which packs some neat abilities and are cleverly hidden like last time. Like my personal favorite, the double charge shot, which is, just finger licking good. A little hard to aim both shots simultaneously, and yeah, you can charge your other weapons like in the last game, but this double charge shot can wipe through some Mavericks like Lemon Pledge. You get a cool leg upgrade that allows an additional dash in the air, which you'll definitely need if you're doing some secret hunting. There's the helmet upgrade that, when in use, finds some secrets in your view, and some parts can be tricky to find. Like there, for example, you would not know what to do here. It just looks like a regular Joe Schmo floor, but you have to use a spin wheel weapon here to get the body upgrade down below. Speaking of which, the body armor absorbs the damage you take, which you can unleash into a super omega duper I just want to be done with the game attack. It may not work well against the bosses, but it shreds through small fry like the plague. Now before we could talk about the new gadgets, let's talk about Robot Bojack, Turkey Slurpee, and this Jagoff who likes to kick really hard. These guys, from what I can tell, do put up a good fight compared to X1, and there's a bit of pattern recognition with these goons, but I think they're pretty decent fights. They do, however, go down harder than a boomer having a stroke with the correct weakness. That was very unnecessarily dark, I am so sorry. Usually the weapon weakness resets their attack pattern, so they're either back to throwing or jumping, and some are a lot more complicated than others, but most of the time, I just want to stick with my upgraded X-Buster. Consider me impatient. I don't give a flying shite, but with Wheelgator's boss, using his weakness does reset his pattern, but doing it this way takes way too long to get another opening. And that stupid silk shot, I cannot aim this thing if my life was on the line. If you want my personal opinion, I think Wheelgator is a good starting point. You take him out, you get one of the best weapons in the game, then use that weapon against Mr. Krabs packing heat. Now these weapons you earn are decent enough. Again, Spin Wheel is a personal favorite of mine. You can eat through mini bosses like Pepperjack Cheese if placed right. Bubble Splash is a decent weapon, but screw the charged up shield. I can't switch weapons, nor can I get rid of it. Nope, it stays on until it drains, baby. Speed Burner is fine, Magnet Mine is okay. Everything else is mainly used for weaknesses or fighting secrets, like Spin Wheel again. And also Strike Chain and Crystal Hunter. I like weapons that I can just flip through all the time, you know? Weapons that not only can be used to finding other secrets, but also I like them to bring the pain. So that's why I just stick with my regular buster throughout the majority of the game. The weapons are just there in my opinion. Storm Tornado? This ain't. Rolling Shield? This ain't. And now let's jump to the biggest gimmick of X2, and that's the Three Stooges. Starring Violin, Surges, and Agile. Agile? If I pronounce her name wrong, die. Like I mentioned before, all they want is for you to rot, but they have a unique way of doing so, by reviving your best friend to do the job for them. No joke, these guys have Zero's body parts. They jingle jangle in front of you like a set of keys, being all like, hey, you want your little buddy back? Come get our booties and come get them. But the thing that's halting the revival process a bit though, is that not only X is better at murdering than anticipated, oh god, he's a man, what do we do? But also, Dr. Kane possesses Zero's main chip that boots him up all good as new. Again, aren't you supposed to be dead? So with all that, you want to save your best friend? Here's how it works. After your second Maverick, the trio believes it's time to take matters into their own hands as they jump to random stages waiting for you. They're optional to be sure, and you can find the optional boss rooms by exploring the stage, which also kinda sucks when you finally decide to do something smart and think, ooh, do I get a sub-tank or maybe a hard tank? Ooh, I just cannot wait to see what goodies await for... I have 0 lives, just kill me now. Don't worry, past self, because these guys will be happy to do it for you. Why are these so hard? Yeah, pattern recognition is one thing, but I can't seem to dodge any of these attacks whatsoever. Especially with Robot Curly here. His ball just goes back and forth, but I swear to God, the distance of each hit is too random. And with this, Mr. Master, I don't care who you are. Yeah, these guys are hard to start off with because you have to go a certain length in the stage to find the mini boss room. And after an hour trying to get one dude down even with their weakness, I just wanted to get this over with. So you wanna know what I did? I just flipped on Rookie Hunter mode to take less damage because I just don't want to deal with their garbage.
So you have used the mode before the final boss.
Shut up, cat! I do not feel guilty about doing so either, because there is no difference plot-wise whether or not you get the parts. The only difference is a Zero boss you have to beat before getting the Sigma in the X-Hunter Fortress, and FYI, I don't feel like dealing with that either. Zero turns to the good side again, and you both have a romantic date over a cliff, so it really doesn't matter whether or not you get the parts. Like I mentioned before, these dudes bounce from stage to stage when you return to the stage select screen, and since there's only 3 of them, that means you have 3 parts to collect, and if you're up to the task, go in and find that secret boss room like no one's biz. Or you could just ignore them and just defeat the Maverick in the stage, that's fine too. Actually, it's not. The reason being is because the X-Hunters only teleport to a stage with the Maverick not defeated yet. So let's say you went on ahead to defeat Flame Stag, well too bad sonny boy, they ain't going there. And that means that's 1 stage closer to not getting Zero back, because you need to beat all 3 of them. Even with just 1 part left to go, I still managed to lose Zero. And that's when I restarted the game and defeated defeated the X-Hunters first because I felt guilty. I mean, for all that Zero has done for me, I gotta show him I have some balls in my briefs. It's also worth pointing out that I have no idea what their patterns are going from one stage to another, so it just seems random for all I care. But if you do want to save Zero and defeat the X-Hunters, you're gonna have to branch out of your comfort zone from X1. You know, with a stage with a Maverick you know you don't have the weakness for, yet there's an X-Hunter right there, you might want to take the chance and just jump right in. You know, in your usual Mega Man game, you choose a stage, you try to beat the boss with your little pea shooter, you get their weapon, and then you hunt down the next boss you think is weak to your new shiny gun. But this game decides to spice things up by having you take an unusual paths you're not used to, which I can kinda dig. Most of the time, I'm exploring the stages, seeing what they offer, and checking out what secrets I can find already. So I'm exploring and blowing cute robots up either way, so it's not much of a major gripe. Plus, it'll give you a chance to check out the Maverick attack patterns before you officially face them. Again, there's no real penalty for defeating them or not defeating them. You fight them again anyway, and the fortress packs some extra grudge against you, so again, may I ask, what's the bloody point? So, in conclusion, this is definitely a good continuation of Mega Man X, but a sequel is a chance to expand what made the game fun and rewarding. So in my opinion, is X2 a great sequel? Well, for the record, there's a lot that the game does right, but it's not as great as I hoped. I'm not saying that X2 was a horrible experience, but it just seems like the game has taken a 1/5 step back. The weapons aren't as fun, unlike X1's arsenal, these X-Hunters having very little significance. It's pretty much X1, but without all the new extra duds added to it. Instead, they just replaced the duds. But despite the flaws, I still had a great time here, especially on my third playthrough. Yes, I said third. The armor upgrades adds that extra flair, and I love how you have the dash by default, and I will never get tired of the dual shot. That's just a sexy piece of color. Looks like a sherbet delight I could just taste from here. Also, fun level design and thought-provoking boss fights. These things are the bits I enjoy most out of any Mega Man game, and X2 delivers these things straight to your door under 3 seconds. Hey Tux, what do you got there?
Games. I'm surprised you never talked about the OST. You usually gush over video game music.
I don't know, I kinda surprised myself, honestly. Maybe I'm just picky about my gaming OSTs, but when it comes to this game's OST, it's okay. Okay, I don't know guys, most of the songs had the same too excited to be a guitar, electric guitar, that just gets kinda old. Some of these stages, thankfully, mixes it up a little, but that guitar always has to be the party pooper here. Sometimes it could be cool like a magnet caterpillar, but sometimes it could be smelly and gross like a wheel gator. But anywho, those are my thoughts on Mega Man X2. It's time we jump to X3 on the next episode. We got about 6 games to go, y'all, and you know what? So far so good. Let's hope X3 can keep the same momentum going. So that was my good old-fashioned hot take. My game take. What did you guys think of this video? Hecky, what do you think of Mega Man X2? Be sure to let me know all your thoughts on the comments below, and be sure to like, and most importantly, subscribe, because guys, I'm not going anywhere. You'll be seeing me again, and I only get funkier every time. If you want all the updates on what's going on, I recommend checking out my Twitter and my Facebook page, or if you want to go the extra mile in supporting me, I recommend checking out my Patreon and my TeePublic store. But also, do you want to buy a commission? I recommend checking out my new JorGoGo website. All the links will be down below. So, until we meet again guys, be cool, be wild, and be groovy, and please remember to take your vitamin C and zinc together in the mornings. Good lord, everyone's getting sick down here. The weather keeps going up and down.